G'day, welcome back to another episode of TOGL, Tasmanian Off-Grid Living. My name's Jason and my wife Kayleen and I are inviting you to come along and experience our journey as we move from Canberra to Tasmania and set up on 300 acres and live off-grid. I haven't been up here for a few days because we had all of that rain, as was mentioned at the end of the last episode, and you can probably hear it's still quite windy. So in that last episode we pretty much had the timber mill set up. All I needed to do was just tighten up a couple of extra bolts. I needed some Allen keys, which I've done now, and as you can see I've also put on the decal stickers that needed to go on and just tidied up, made sure that everything was good. Now she's ready for her first trial run, which we will do in a second. I'm hoping it does fire up. I think I've done everything right in anticipation. I've dragged a nice new log. That'll be the test log. I went and got one of these big winch straps, length of chain, used the tractor, and I've just dragged it from right down the bottom there. Dragged it up beautifully. I'm glad I got that 20-meter winch strap. It's definitely been handy. It meant that I could stay up here on the grassy top. I wasn't down in the boggy stuff, and I was able to pull that log straight out. So I'll set this camera up now on the tripod and we'll do a quick run through the startup and make sure that she's working, and if it fires up I'll get the log loaded with the tractor onto the mill and we'll do a couple of cuts and we'll see how we go. So I had a couple of questions about the timber mill, about where I got it from and what model, brand it was, etc. There's no affiliation for this. This was teed up long before I was ever thought about making any YouTube channels. So in May last year I went up to Gosford, had a look at Jeff's Tools up there. They are selling Norwood mills and they're also selling these Australian hardwood timber mills. So I had the two models to choose from, or the two brands I should say. I decided to go with the Australian hardwood mills. One of the big reasons was that this is all metal, and I like the fact that all this covers metal. With the Norwood, it was plastic. Now if I'm not mistaken, Norwood was made in Canada. I think there's another brand called Wood-Mizer, which is made in America, and then you've got the Australian hardwood mill. Not all of the pieces are made in Australia, but it is assembled in Australia. Well, this one was assembled in Australia, it was assembled in Tassie. But no, they get all the pieces together. A lot of the engineering was done in Australia for it. I went with the GT34 deluxe model, primarily because it was the largest model and it had the deepest cut from here to the blade. That was the deepest amount. That was deeper than on the Norwoods as well. So I got a double bonus there. I got these nice metal covers, which I think are more durable. And also got the deepest cut, and it's one of the widest cuts as well, but predominantly there is no other timber mill that I found that had the depth of cut that this does. So that was a big selling point for it. So yeah, those guys, you can look them up online. If you just Google Gosford, Jeff's Tools, actually you can also, there's a website on the back which is www.hardwoodmills.com.au. So that was the website that you can go to have a look at these. So let's see if we can fire this up now. So as I said, fuel's in, we've put in the oil, we've checked the oil levels because the motor comes with no oil, and got the water in there as well. The water is for the dripper. It drips water onto the blade here, helps keep the blade cool and clean while we're cutting. So around to the back, choke on apparently, fuel, the breather's open, that should be fine, turn to on. The hours meter lit up, so at least I know I've got battery, I've got electricity to it, so that's good. really good. So hey, it did fire up, fantastic. First go, I wasn't expecting it first go. That's really good. Some of the wiring that I had to do, I just really wasn't sure. Also, I tested out the emergency stop button to stop it. It stopped straight away, so that's really good to know too. Sounds smooth, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to now load up a log and we're going to see if we can't cut something. We'll see how we go. Okay, so the first cut I didn't have the guide close enough to the timber. It allowed too much flex with the blade, and I got a couple of dips. It was a little bit wobbly. I'll just show you what I mean by that. So right here, you have this guard here, and this can extend in and out to match. So I had this right back here, which meant that the blade would wobble up and down. So you want to have it so that you've got your guide close to where the edge of your timber is, and it just holds the blade nice and steady. So this is the second cut. That timber looks beautiful. Pity it's only going to get used as the bridge. That's beautiful timber. So, but it shows me what I've got to work with further on down the track. Number one priority now though is get that bridge / causeway in so that we can get the trucks in. So that beautiful timber is going to be used for that, but it'll probably be the best looking bridge in all of the northwest. Okay, well, yesterday was pretty damn windy, so I didn't even bother doing any filming at all. It's very hard. The wind is so strong up here, it keeps blowing the tripod over, and it makes it very hard to hear anything anyway. I don't know, it annoys me when all you can hear is the wind over the microphone, so I opted not to do any video yesterday. I was still up here working though. I got a couple more slabs cut, and I managed to get this big log in right up through here. So that's going to be one of the side logs for this road. Plan being that I've got another set of logs on this side, and then I'll put those 2-inch thick planks across all the way through, make that roadway through. We had a meeting this morning with our planners, and they informed us that at the moment our planning approval has gone through to council, although council did pick up that there is a private logging license or treaty or whatever on the block, which basically means that we're supposed to log the entire block and reforest it. Now, in addition to that though, council has already put on a caveat saying that this is it's like high interest forest. So it doesn't mean that you can't cut it, but it means that you've got to have a really good reason to. So there's kind of these two bits of legislation that are contradicting each other at the moment that we need to get sorted out. So once we get that sorted out, and then pay our fee, of course, because there's always a fee, then the planning approval will go through. Once the planning approval goes through, then we have to get the architect to draw up the site design. Once that's done, then we can submit the building approval. So there's a planning approval, then a building approval, and then we've got to wait for the building approval. So all in all, what this means is my ideal goal of getting this all up and done and running very fast, and I was busting a gut to get everything pushed through, work as fast as I could, probably isn't so relevant now, because it looks like it's going to take a while for all the red tape to get put through. So it kind of takes the pressure off me a little bit anyway. But you know, we can still keep working up here on the different bits and pieces that we want to do with the tracks and with our little day camp area, and maybe just some little shelters and things. We just can't start the actual building for a little while yet, but that's okay. We've got time. It's our block now. We own it outright. We don't have a mortgage or anything on it, so I'm quite happy for it to take its time, because I know that once we're done, this is going to be a beautiful piece of paradise that we've got here, and it's worth the wait. It's worth the effort to get all of the legislation and everything pushed through and jump through all the hoops. So that's what we'll be doing. But anyway, so for today, what I need to do is I need to get a few more logs into this gap right here. I need to fill up this gap here with more logs, and then I can start putting more planks across. I did realize the other day too that when the wind had blown the tripod over, I actually didn't end up videoing me loading the logs with the tractor onto the mill, so we'll probably get a bit of footage of that done too. One thing I have noticed since we had all that rain on the weekend, tiger snakes everywhere. There's been several in this wood pile, so I have to be very careful when I'm moving around. I think this log pile has become the perfect habitat for frogs, because this is a creek flow through here. So now all the snakes are in here looking for the frogs. So I just have to be very careful as I'm moving around. I have ordered a pair of gaiters, those big snake-proof gaiters that wrap around, as an extra bit of protection. We'll see how we go. They should be arriving in the mail in the next week or so. Up until then, I've just got to tread very carefully. So anyway, I'll get onto it, and we'll see how much we get done today. Okay, so the battery went flat, unfortunately. I'm not sure how much of that work you got, but I got a new battery. What I've done now, since the battery went flat, was I've got the dirt in for about the first 10 feet. I've got the first 3 planks in there as well. And I'm just about to go and load up the other 4 planks that I cut yesterday when it was really windy, and bring them down, and then we'll get them all secured on. I'll run it in time lapse so that it goes nice and quickly. Well, that was exhausting and backbreaking. I think I need to buy the little attachment so I can put those bolts in with my drill rather than a socket set. But we've got 6 panels in there now. That's a start. So I need to put a bit more soil in now before I can get that 7th panel in, and then I'll need to cut some more panels. So I'll get stuck into that. I've probably got another hour or so. I'll probably just move a bit of dirt and then pack up and take an early mark. Well, it was a big afternoon today. After I turned the camera off, I continued to dump dirt with the tractor. I was clearing a track and using that dirt to backfill this area. So you saw that I got those 7 planks in. Well, actually it was 6. The 7th one I can't put in yet. But now you'll see if I spin around like this. Sorry about the sun glare. So we have dirt area and then the 7 planks and then another big section of dirt right there. So we're making progress. We're probably a third of the way across. So what I'll do is I'll keep driving the tractor backwards and forwards over that dirt tomorrow, drop more dirt on, back and forwards with the tractor just to pack it all down nice and hard. And then once all that dirt's packed in, then I'll put the timber panels on top. I need to cut a few more first though. So that'll be the job for tomorrow. Still waiting to hear about the fence, but as soon as I get the call for the fence, I'll get started on that. Hopefully you'll see that shortly in this video. But that's it for me today. Time to pack things up and head on home.